Well, I mean, the person we just mentioned, Christian Eppinger, who's actually a rapper under the name of Big Bhris, he was actually charged with shooting a cop 6 times.
He very much was. And I saw the video. A police officer was going to make the arrest on an outstanding warrant for an armed robbery. Eppinger pushes him away, draws, and basically shoots this guy once in the head and then 5 times in the chest, like no farther away than I am from that camera. The fact that that officer survived is shocking. Like, it's surprising. And Eppinger was captured not too long later. Eppinger's arrest, I think, was what set off the rest of this. I think the district attorney says that they were looking at things before that, and they were, but they weren't getting ready to act. Like, Eppinger's arrest set off the chain that ultimately ended up with Young Thug being arrested.
Right, because wasn't he granted bond after shooting that cop?
No, he wasn't. Like, there was talk about giving him a bond, and it's because the Fulton County jail system is over full. So there's a rolling day, a 90-day calendar, essentially. If you are not charged, like formally indicted with a crime, within 90 days, you are eligible for a bond. Like, they can hold you for 90 days for whatever, if the underlying charge is strong enough, but you have to actually be indicted. Eppinger was bumping up against the 90 days, and a judge, not believing that they weren't going to be able to look at them again before 90 days came up, granted them a sky-high $300,000 bond. That was immediately quashed. Eppinger was never going to get out on bond, but on paper, he had a $300,000 bond for like 2 hours. But yeah, everybody, a huge call to action. Like, all of the police and the district attorney held a press conference and, no, we're not going to let this guy out on bond. Why was this judge doing this? And it was kind of a dog and pony show about it. But yeah, he wasn't going anywhere. He is going to be spending the rest of his life in jail because a judge he was on parole, essentially, for a crime where he could have been sentenced for 20 or 30 or 40 years. He was resentenced to the crime that he was already committed, that he had sentenced for, I want to say 40 years. Eppinger will never be a free man again.
Right, because after that whole shooting, he faced 15 new charges, including attempted murder.
He hasn't even been convicted or charged with any of that stuff yet. He's in jail for the rest of his life, and he hasn't been charged. He hasn't been convicted of any of that yet.